Rabotai, Shavua Tov, Tizkor Shem Rabot Naimot V'Tovot. Kadosh Baruch Hu in his abundant kindness, right after Yom Kippur, flings us into the holiday of Sukkot, so that we don't have a chance to do averot. So we're busy with the Sukkah, with the lulav, and with all of the other mitzvot that have to do with the Chag. So some of the halachot of Sukkah, we don't have a lot of time left. The Sukkah requires a minimum of 3 walls in Halacha, sometimes a little bit less. But let's talk about the 3. Halacha, Maran Zechon V'Bracha writes in Yechavedat as well as in Chazon Ovadia that fabric sukkot, when you have the poles and you put fabric walls that flap in the wind, la'alacha ul ma'aseh, these kinds of sukkot are pasul. Hagon of Moshe Feinstein in Igrot Moshe was also not a fan of these fabric sukkot, even though they're sold on the market. That doesn't really mean anything. Therefore, Maran Zechon V'Bracha says that a person with minimal investment is able to be machshir the sukkah, and the way to do it is from the bottom, from the floor of the sukkah, and then you go approximately 9 inches up. You have to start tying lavud strings. You tie a string. 9 inches above that, another string. 9 inches above that, another string, and then one more. It could be string, rope, bungee cord, whatever it is, or you could put actual wooden slats, but that's a little bit harder. Anything that's less than 3 tefachim is 9.4 inches. If it's less than 3 tefachim, it doesn't matter what the material is made out of. According to halacha, it's considered sealed. Once you do this for a minimum of 10 tefachim, which is the minimum height of the sukkah, 10 tefachim is about 80 centimeters, about 32 inches, then the halacha is you have kosher walls, even if the walls are not reaching the schach. That's another halacha Moshe Sinai, which dictates that the walls do not need to reach the schach, as long as the schach is directly above it or within 3 tefachim. It goes straight up and it's considered sealed, and then technically la halacha, you don't have any necessity for those fabric walls. It's kasher even without. Now, that's with regards to the walls. The schach has to be made from things, obviously, that grow from the ground, that's detached from the ground, not mikabel tum'ah, whereas the walls themselves can be made out of any substance, even things that don't grow from the ground and are not mikabel tum'ah. Now, another thing that's important to realize, sometimes the schach gets blown away because it's very windy or whatever it is. People hold the schach down using either beams or whatever it is. That's fine. Hagon Yalkut Yosef, Hagon Shevet Levi, and many other poskim write that if a person wishes to use plastic zip ties, azikonim in Hebrew, to hold down the schach, it is perfectly acceptable, since the azikonim, these plastic zip ties are only mekabel tum'ah midrabanan, and therefore to use it to hold down the schach is perfectly acceptable. There's no issue, especially if it's in a place where the winds are not so strong, meaning in general the breeze is not so strong, you're concerned about the schach flying away in a very strong wind, which is unusual, then for sure it's mutar, according to all opinions. Interestingly, also with regards to the holiday of Sukkot, this is a time to take care of this as well. The Zohar Kadosh in Parashat Emor writes very interestingly that we speak about the Ushpizin, the special holy guests that we have over Sukkot. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, and David. They come every night. There's a special guest every night of those 7, but they all come. The Zohar Kadosh says that anytime you invite a guest over, you have to feed the guest. You give him a portion, right? Otherwise, it's not a guest. You can't invite a guest over and not feed them. So now, the holy Ushpizin, they come to the Sukkah, but they're spiritual beings. They don't eat. So what do you do with their portion? Says the Zohar Kadosh, the portion of the Ushpizin has to go to poor people. That's where they designated for. You must invite poor people to the Sukkah and feed them the portion of the Ushpizin. That's what it's called. Otherwise, the Zohar Kadosh says meforash that the Ushpizin, the holy guests, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, and David, they become very upset when you don't invite over poor people. They curse the person, the Baal Habayit, and they leave the Sukkah. When a person does not invite over, even if you have family and friends and people whose company you enjoy, if you don't have anim in the Sukkah, the Ushpizin leave, says the Zohar Kadosh. Interesting. So now, the Rambam also speaks about it in Chot Yom Tov, very, very harshly. They have to feed poor people on Sukkot. Think back to the last time that you literally fed a poor person, a genuine random poor person in your Sukkah throughout Sukkot. let's be real. Let's be honest with ourselves. During Sukkot, everybody likes to spend time with the people that they like to spend time with, right? That's who they invite to the Sukkah. But that's not doing justice to the Ushpizin. So the Poskim say that in order to satisfy this obligation of the Zohar, a person must, at least if you're not inviting them over, you have to at least donate handsomely to genuine aniyim before Sukkot, so that they are taken care of, so that the Ushpizin are happy, so that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy, so that they can actually have Simchat HaChag. So to that end, Rabotai, as I do every year, I have a campaign for aniyim. You can come see me. You can donate in cash. You can donate via Zelle. I'm going to post it on the chats very soon. Maybe I'll post the language of the Zohar. It's very scary. If a person does not take care of aniyim during Chag, all of the Chagim, but especially Chag HaSukkot, upon which the Torah says Meforash, V'samachta b'chagecha, ata uvincha uvitecha, ve'avdecha ve'amatecha, ve'alevi, ve'ager, ve'ayatom, ve'almana asher b'kirbecha. The Midrash says on this pasuk, Arba keneged Arba. It says in this pasuk, there are four people that belong to us, and 4 people that belong to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this pasuk. The Midrash says, Im ata misameach et sheli, ani misameach et shelcha. V'im en ata misameach et sheli, en ani misameach et shelcha. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Meforash, it's a trade-off. Let's take HaKadosh Baruch Hu up on his offer. Yizku l'shem rabot na'imot letovot.